All right. So today we are going to do a little bit about decimals, and this lesson is actually for the lower primary. All right, but it will be actually very good for the P4 especially. All right, so if you are P4, you should be able to benefit a lot. For the P3, take it as an introductory lesson, whereby in future you will see such questions also. All right, so today the 7 problem sums, right? There are 7 questions. All right, we'll be mainly covering things like add-on. It will be covering things like stacking. It will be covering things like internal transfer, total never change. All right, it will be covering things like gap and difference. All right, very exciting. All right, all these are very big concepts that if you can know it as a primary 4, right, you'll make yourself stronger. And P3, yes, it's a good introduction to you. All right, that these are some of the concepts that you will be facing in future. All right, so I believe that you are P3 and P4 here. Let's take a look at the introduction. All right, so in terms of what you need, if you have an exercise book with you, that would be good, so that you can write out all the points that is needed. All right, if you have printed out the worksheet, even better. All right, so that you can actually do the questions with me, or some of you maybe even have done the questions already, then you can check the answer with me. Stationery, all right, you know that I like to use colored pens and make my workings more colorful and more attractive so that it is not that dull. And of course, I need to have your attention and focus for the next 1 hour, 10 minutes, probably. All right. So one more thing down here, one more thing. All right. I hope that you have your calculator with you. For this one lesson, I know that P3, P4 cannot use calculator. All right. But let's try to understand the concepts for today. All right. And leave the calculation aside. So we use a calculator to do the calculation to make us faster. So our focus is on the concepts of the, the concepts on how to do the question instead of the calculation portion. Is that okay? All right. So if you can have your calculator with you, please bring your calculator. Can? All right. So usually this is not in your worksheet. All right. But I just want you to remember for me, memorize, because it will be very useful. Trust me. All right. For P3 to P6. So these are 4 fractions to percentage to decimals to ratio. All right, we call this conversion, which is very, very useful in your primary school life and even for your secondary school life. So if you can remember, right, when you are in primary 3, primary 4, it will benefit you a lot, trust me. So there are 4 kinds of fractions which I need you to remember. The first one is actually 1 over 8. All right, 1 over 8. The second fraction I need you to remember is 1 over 4. The third one is 1 over 2. And the last one is 3 over 4. All right, so I call this the big 4. I call this the big 4. All right, the big 4 is actually consists of the fraction, decimals, ratio, and percentage. These are the big 4. All right, but there are 4 fractions to decimal, to ratio, to percentage conversion. I hope that you can remember. All right, it will make your life easier in primary school, trust me. So just try to remember them, can? All right, so let's go to the easy one first. For example, the fraction 1 over 4, all right? Oh, let's talk about half even. Half is the easier one. All right, half, right, can be written as a decimal. All right, half as a decimal is like 0.5. All right, you're supposed to memorize it. All right, memorize for yourself, memorize for me if you can. So half is like 0.5. This is the easiest one. And ratio, sure, I haven't learned ratio, I know. But it's actually very simple, all right? Because ratio is just a presentation of fraction in a different form. So fraction is top and bottom, right? You see, top and bottom. Ratio is left to right. So it's 1:2. Can you see? Huh? That's simple, which means that 1 over 4, right, is the same as what? 1:4. So we call this dot dot, right, as is 2. How about this 1 over 8? All right, 1 over 8 as a fraction, as a ratio, 1:8. This you will learn in primary 5, but it's okay. All right, as I told you, this table is for you to memorize. All right, so you just memorize for now. It will really help you in the future. How about 3 over 4? 3 over 4 as a ratio, 3:4. That's all. So it's just a different form of presentation, fraction and ratio. Can? Okay, let's drop back to decimals. All right, half is 0.5, easy. How about 1/4? All right, 1/4 is actually half of half. Do you know that? All right. So 1/4, right, can you please remember as 0.25? All right, so they are in the timetables of 25. 0.25, this one is like 0.50. Can you see there's a 0 behind? Right? But usually we don't write the 0 behind, right? We write 0.5. And how about 3/4? All right, if you make an intelligent guess, it will be 0.75. As I say, it's the multiple of 25. So it's 25, 50, 75. All right, once again, you don't need to know how to get from fraction to decimal. Don't have to know that first. Just remember for me first, all these things, right? Because they are useful. Can? Okay, how about 1/8? 1/8, right? Can you see the 8? So the 8 is like 2 punches, you know? It's like 2 punches, you see? Look at my video, it's like 2 punches. So it's like, I remember myself as like 2 punches like that, all right? It's actually 0.125. Huh? Teacher challenged me to a fight. No. 125, 125. Right, 0.125. Right, yes, Mingjun, I saw your, yes. All right, yeah. The Blackpink student also, yeah. It's 0.125. So remember all these decimals. It's very useful. Trust me, really. Can? All right. So 8 is like 1 to 5. All right. But don't go and challenge your friend to 1 to 5, please. Right. 0.125 is 108. So in terms of percentage, all right. Sure, I haven't learned because percentage is also a P5, P6 topic. I know. Don't worry. I know the syllabus. All right. But I just want you to memorize this table here. All right. Why? Because it's important. All right. So for percentage, right, 0.5 is actually you take the 2 decimals at the back down here. Can you see that? So it's just a 50%. Huh? Simple as that. How about this one? You just take the 2 behind, which is a 75%. Oh yeah. And how about this one? You take the 2 decimals at the back, which is a 25%. Oh, so simple. And how about the 0.125? You take the 2 decimal down here. All right. So it's a 12.5%. Yes, very good. All right. So down here, right, again, you don't need to know the conversion, how to convert from this one to this one and so on. Don't have to worry about that first. Don't worry about that first. Just do me a favor, memorize this table. Why? Because it is very useful. All right. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of flu. So sometimes I take tissue paper to wipe my nose because got fluid keep coming down. All right, that's one way, or another way is I can stuff the tissue paper into my nose, but we are recording now, so it's not nice. Okay, so forgive me a bit. Can? Okay. So this is something which I think is important. Please write it down and memorize for now. All right. In future, you will love me, I tell you. All right, you will love me. Reason is because, right, your teachers, right, like me, we are not creative one. So we will always use the same fraction, the same decimal, the same ratio, the same percentage. All right, all this will keep coming out. Can? So can you please just remember this for now? All right. As a P3, P4, right, it's easier for you to remember things. Yeah. So when you get older like me, yeah, you know, sometimes it's get harder to remember. Can? Okay, so this is the first thing. The second thing is we are going into a word problem. And this word problem, right, I want to teach you all. Right, it's something called add-on. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so tank P has 3 times as much oil as tank Q. All right, I call this add-on. Why do I call this add-on? Later I'll explain to you. Add-on. All right, so tank P has 3 times as much oil as tank Q. R has less than P. All right, so let me draw out what is P and Q first. P versus Q, right? We are told that P has 3 times. So children, read a little bit, do a little bit. Don't stress too much, right? Because some of you look at problem sum. I don't like. So if you don't like problem sums, you will tend to what? Be afraid of it. All right. So when you read a bit, you draw a bit, you try to stay calm. All right. So P is what? 3 times means what? P is 3 times means 3 of this. Q is 1. Do you understand this? All right. So for example, they say that you have 3 times as much money as me. All right. For example, I got $10, you got 3 times, you got 30. Right? All right. So they got 3, I got 1. Right? Can you see that? That's the meaning of 3 times. All right. 3 times means P got 3 of this, and Q must obviously have something. Q will have 1 of this. So that is the model for this first line out here. P has 3 times as much as Q. Next, R. All right. R has less. All right. R has less than P. Can you see that? So I don't read the 4.8. Because when I read the 4.8, I feel afraid. So I just read the more important thing. R has less than P. Okay, so in this case, R must be shorter than P, right? So R is shorter than P. So how short, I don't know. All right, I draw until here. I don't know. I seriously don't know where to stop. But I know it's like shorter. So I draw like that. Can? All right. So is it true that R is shorter than P? Yes. Okay, then I focus on the number. It's actually 4.8 liters shorter. 4.8 liters less means 4.8 liters shorter, which means from here to here is 4.8 liters shorter than P. Is that correct? That is correct. So now you have the model. And there is a last clue. The last clue is what? There is a total of 93.2. So total you draw where? Total you draw here, right? Okay, the total. And the total is 93.2 liters. Are you okay? Are you okay? Yes, I am. Sorry. Okay, so usually what you do? Usually, right, I know your school teacher will teach you. Always take the total to less out the what? The gap, the 4.8. Correct or not? All right, it's always to minus away the extra. You always take the total to minus away the things that you know. Like the extra, which is this portion. Minus away this portion. All right, but in this case, let me show you a different way of approach. All right, can you see that R, right? R is actually short of the 4.8. So if I purposely take my total, 93.2, and I purposely plus the 4.8, right? What am I trying to do? It means that I'm trying to give my R, what? The 4.8. All right, I'm trying to give my R the 4.8. So actually my R is just the green color box, but I purposely plus the 4.8 so that I extend my R to have this portion coming out. Can you see that? All right, so that my R will have this whole thing coming out. Can you see? So this is my new R. This is my new R. If I plus the 4.8 to the total. Why do I do that? So that what? So that I can have what? Equal sizes. Look here. Q is this size. P is the same size as Q for this portion. All right, they are the same size. All right, and this is the same size as the one on the left, and this is the same size as the one on the left. So for R, right, I purposely extend by 4.8. Can you see that down here? I will also have my 3 units also. Can you see that or not? Can you see my model? Can you see the yellow portion coming out? All right, so this one is the same as this one again. All right, then this portion, right, will be the same part as this one. So I purposely make what? I purposely make my R have the what? Have the same number of units as my P. Can you see that? So in this case, right, in this case, let me add the 93.2 first, plus 4.8. I say can use calculator. I did say. It's actually 98. All right, for this exercise, let's use the calculator because I want you to understand the concept. All right, in terms of the calculation and all this, let's leave it aside. So 98 represents what? Because you plus the 48, right? R now got what? R now got 3 units. You know that? R now got 3 units. P itself already got 3 units. Q still got the 1 unit. All right, so the total will be what? 3 plus 3 plus 1 is 7 units. Can you see? So these 7 units represent what? The 98. Total compared with the new total. Can you see that or not? So this is something called add-on. All right, so usually I know we always try to minus the, the gap. All right, but now you learn to add on to make them of the equal size. Right, this is something that is a little bit different. Try to adapt to it because there's so many concepts. There's so many ways of doing things, or try to adjust accordingly. All right, so you add back to make R the same size as P. P is 3 units, R will also be 3 units. So now we can compare. 7 units equal to 98 liters. All right, total compare with total. Find 1 unit first. How do you find 1? 98 divided by 7. Press your calculator, you should get 98 divided by 7. 14 liters. All right, as I say this exercise, let's press the calculator. All right, and you're supposed to find how much oil is there in tank P. Oh, P got 3 units. Very good. So it's simply 14 times 3. Answer will be 42 liters. Ta-da! Can you see that? Yeah.